all the stalwarts at youth photography, all the stalwarts like Satish sir and many others in the past have set a benchmark at Youth Photographic Society. Hope the new committee will raise it to much higher levels and cater to more people
4 days
across the globe.
4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So yeah, and I would like to take like this opportunity to introduce Anitha Mysore, who's also a member of Youth Photographic Society and also a part of our team in the executive committee as well. So Anitha Mysore is a software professional based out of Bangalore, India, and her interest in photography right at a very early age, but was limited to shooting some wonderful memories. Her interest for further fueled when she acquired her first DSLR and she then began to experiment with various genres of photography. Birds drew her interest like none other. At the same time, the opportunity she got to travel through her IT career fired her imagination in travel and street photography. And I think all the people present here would be seeing the wonderful pictures that she has made, especially in travel travel photography. Anitha Mysore was introduced to Youth Photographic Society in 2016, and her association with the stalwarts of YPS not only brought her into the world of salons, but also introduced her to fine art photography. Henry Ford said, anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Drawing from this quote, Anitha Mysore believes that one is never too old to learn, and every day is a learning. Her participation in national and international salons for the for more than 5 years now has brought her a lot of laurels and accolades. Her works have been exhibited in more than 50 countries, and she has over 6,500 acceptances. Probably
Read,
very
read.
few people in the country probably may have these kind of numbers of acceptances. She has 600 awards to her credit from all through the journey that he has gone in the last 5 years. She is also an active jury member for many national and international salons. Anitha Mysore has been playing the role of an interclub representative for YPS for the apex bodies like the PSA, FIAP, FIP, all interclub contests. Typically, she takes lead, and we have been seeing wonderful results. We are proud of you, ma'am. For the last
Thank you.
2 years, she has been doing this meticulously, and the way that she follows up to get pictures and follows the process to submit is commendable. She was also one of the salon secretaries. She was the salon secretary for the YPS International Digital Salon 2022, along with me. And I should definitely make a mention. Trust me, it was a wonderful experience traveling all through the salon. Me being the chairman, I would really say it was a wonderful effort from her, which we saw very good entries. All just went like a cakewalk. Anitha Mysore was listed among the top 10 of FIP's Who's Who in 2018. She appeared in PSS Who's Who in 2018 under Photo Travel, Nature, and Photojournalism divisions, and in 2019 and 20 upon under the Open Color, Open Monochrome, Nature, Photo Travel, and Photojournalism divisions. Anitha Mysore is also a member of Federation of Indian Photography, Photographic Society of America, Global Photographic Union GPU, Australian Photographic Society APS, and the Royal Photographic Society RPS. She is active on social media on Instagram as at Anitha Mysore and at Lalbagh. And she also, sorry? And she also has a list of distinctions to her credit, uh, such as ARPS, MPSA, EFIAP G, C triple star MOL, that's from Master of Life, EIUP, GPU CR4, FAPS, EFIP, EFIP-G, Honorary CPE, EFIP-G Nature, Honorary PES-GSPC, GPA PES-GSPC, APS, ECPE, ESCPE, ENPS, and ECAS. It's a long list, and we wish you many more accolades of this sort. And over to you, Mukesh sir.
Thank you very much, Vikas. Today, the jury was Sanjay Bose for our Photographer of the Month contest. But since he is not well, I think he has gone to visit the doctor. So, in place of him, I will declare the result. I'm sharing my screen. You see the result? My screen is visible to you all?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. The jury was Sanjay Bose. And this month, I'm very happy that we got a very, very good quality of photographs. The winner is Sakat Chattopadhyay. I think he's here. And first runner-up, Biplav Sikdar. Second runners-up, Jyotirmay Yadav. Congratulations to all the three people. And then among the president choice, first is Sitanath Paul, second Sagar Parmar, third is Rakesh Kishore Sahai. Now I'll show the individual pictures of the winners. This is the picture of the winner, Sakat Chattopadhyay. Next is by Biplav Sikdar. And this is by Jyotirmay Yadav. Then among the president choice, this is by Sitanath Paul, second by Sagar Parmar. This is the picture he clicked during our portrait workshop in the month of March only. The theme was Colors of Holi. And this is by Rakesh Kishore Sahai. Congratulations to these three members also. Now the time has come to see our wonderful bulletin. Really, I'm very much proud of my members, particularly Biplav Sikdar, who is the right hand to make the bulletin ready in time. And we started, I think, 1.5 years back with a 3-page bulletin. And today we have reached 50 plus pages. I think this month we are having 54 pages bulletin. So now I'll request our Chief Advisor, Anil Risal Singh sir, to release our March month DCC bulletin. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Mukeshji. May I share my screen?
Yeah, आपको हमने पहले ही बना दिया है, sir, co-host.
Okay, thank you. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You are seeing the wonderful picture on the cover page.
Thank you so very much for your kind words, Mukeshji. So this is the front cover. As Mukeshji said, this e-bulletin by Dhanbad Camera Club is becoming very, very popular, and a lot of hard work is behind this popularity. I'll increase the size.
Sorry for interruption. Here, Shokar, and good evening, everybody.
Yeah, Ashokji, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Okay. अपना माइक म्यूट कर लीजिए ताकि आवाज.
So this second page is the different content on this bulletin, and now this is the executive body, and I would like to welcome Mrs. Lisa Slenzer on my behalf and on behalf of Dhanbad Camera Club as the honorary advisor of the club. Welcome,
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you.
So these are having the pictures of the different officials of the club. And then the president's message. In president's message, we are having those issues will be in detail will be taken up later on. But I always said there is a link on which the feedback and the suggestion can be given. And this is a very, very good thing. We are open for the feedback and suggestions of the members. Now, the club's activity during last month, March 2023, we have a webinar. It was the 40th webinar by Mr. Vinay Raval. Topic was Varanasi through my lens. And this is the last month's bulletin, and on cover we had a beautiful and unique photograph by Lisa Slimsley. Now, another activity has started by Dhanbad Camera Club, photo review. And in March, there was a photo review, and quite many members submitted their photographs for the review. And the review was made by none other than the president of Dhanbad Camera Club, Mr. Mukesh Srivastava. And it is really a very appreciable step so that the member can go ahead and learn about the intricacies of photographic art. These are some of the pictures of that. And then DCC outdoor portrait workshop in March. Lot of activity Dhanbad Camera Club is having under the guidance of its president, Mr. Mukesh Srivastava. And this is the outdoor portrait workshop. The visuals you can see over here, how the members are engaged in making outdoor portraits. And these pictures are, you can say, the outcome of the workshop. Now, this is an outdoor portrait workshop, had some press coverages, and these are the cuttings of the different papers. It is always important to have the press coverage so that other people may come to know what any organization or individual person is doing about, especially in the field of art. Now, achievements of DCC members and UP Lalit Kala Academy, which I was one of the winner over there, and people are so kind conferring about me the honorary Grand Master by Nobel Fellowship. And there was a grand opening of the exhibition of All India Chitranjali National Label Photographic Competition at Indira Gandhi Center for the Arts at New Delhi. And in the contest, about 5,000 pictures were entered, and it was a grand exhibition over there. And the State Minister of Government of India inaugurated that exhibition. So these are some of the achievement. Then Mr. Mukesh Srivastava, he was appointed the director of master trainer of skill development of India. A great achievement. I would like to congratulate Mr. Mukesh Srivastava for this achievement. Very good going.
Thank you, sir.
And then jury assignments, he was there for this Hunters International Circuit, and he did this photo study of the moon and with the Venus. I think this is the Venus at the lower side. Mukesh, am I right?
Venus.
So that was a very, very peculiar sort of thing, which was well photographed, and it was taken by the local newspaper. So very nice. And then Mr. Sitaram Paul, he has got 214 acceptances. Last month, 9 awards, and 12 new titles were there. And very, I would like to congratulate Mr. Paul. Mr. Sekat Chatterjee's achievement, 58 acceptances and 3 awards. And Mr. Biplab Sikkar's achievement, 5 acceptances and very unique image you can see. I think this is a close-up of some moth or the butterfly. Very nice. And I would like to thank Dhanbad Camera Club for taking my award in a great style, and having this news given the space to this e-bulletin. And this is some particular about the 17th All India Art Photographic Exhibition by UP State Lalit Kala Academy, in which the entrant will have to submit a portfolio of 6 pictures, and the award is in the assessment is on the basis of this portfolio. So this is something very, very nice when the award is given on the body of work, not on the single picture. And this is the awarded portfolio. Actually, these days I am working with the form, color and texture, and these are the some close-up compositions of the vintage car. There is a museum of vintage car at Ahmedabad, and these pictures were taken there. And I again like to show my gratitude for the officials of Dhanbad Camera Club for giving me so much of a space in the e-bulletin. And these are the images in an enlarged size you can see.
The great work, sir.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And I would also like to show these all pictures were made with the mobile camera. These days I am using mobile cameras a lot, and I am enjoying it. I do photography because I enjoy it, and with mobile camera I'm enjoying it a lot. And now the planned activities for April and May. Today we are having the 41st DCC Photo Webinar by Anitha Mysore, and the topic we all know, finding the unique perspective in travel photography. And we are looking forward to this very interesting subject. And I welcome, on my behalf and on behalf of Dhanbad Camera Club, I welcome Anitha ji, and we are eagerly waiting for your presentation. Then on May 7th, we'll be having a different and painter is being invited, Mr. Shiv Shankar Dhar, who will be taking this webinar, and topic will live painting session. As I always said, all these visual arts are all linked together. We cannot separate it, whether it is photography or painting or graphics or whatever it is. So it is a good initiative to have a painter, artist for our forthcoming webinar. Then the legendary photographer, and for this month we are having late O.C. Edwards, Oswald Carnegie Edwards, and he was a legendary nature photographer and the guru and teacher of another legendary wildlife photographer, late T.N. Perumalji. So in those days, when the modern gadgets and the equipments were not there, and we all know for the nature photography, we need a special sort of equipment, long telephoto lenses and all that. But in those days, these gadgets were not there. So it was a big credit should be given to such a stalwart in like Mr. O.C. Edwards with very limited equipment. He was able to do an excellent nature photography. And some of the pictures we'll be sharing with you, friends. It is always better to remember and give tribute to these legendary photographers. And this is the picture with this. He has improvised upon some of the techniques and the equipments to take nature photographs in those olden days and made some masterclass images, nature images. By seeing the work of legendary image makers or photographers, we can learn a lot. By seeing, we can learn a lot. I always believe on this. Just see. These nature studies were made long back. Very creditable thing. He was using a medium format camera, as you shown, mounted on the tripod, and a twin lens reflex camera. Just imagine. Today we are using 500 millimeter lens, 1000 millimeter lens, and all sort of modern equipment. The passion is counted, not the equipment, I believe. So it was compiled by me, and I think it is very important to know about our past legendary photographers. Then a very interesting story, Yellowstone in Winter by Lisa Slinger, EPSA. And very interesting images are there. I won't go by the text because then it will take much longer time. It will be available to each member, so text can be read by later on. But images under the theme we can see and enjoy. Photography is the medium which can take us to the sites or situations where physically we cannot go. This is another power of photography. Only photography has got that. Yellowstone in winter. Repeated pattern is always very interesting. Yellowstone in winter, a photo story by Lisa Slender. Beautiful. Another excellent image.
Wow.
Then under this column, photo click during the march by DCC members, these two images of Jantar Mantar at New Delhi, one of my favorite place. Then these images by Lisa Slenzer, the nature studies, and by DCC's president, Mr. Mukesh Srivastava's two glamour pictures or portrait studies, you can say. Then Mr. Viraj Mistry from Ahmedabad, official of Niharika Camera Club, a very old camera club at Ahmedabad. And then Mr. Sitaram Paul's two images, Mr. Sekat Chatterjee's Mr. Deepak Thakur's two images, as I said, by seeing others' work, we can learn a lot. So it is always very beneficial to go through others' images. And this e-bulletin of Dhanwad Camera Club used to give us this opportunity. Mr. Sagar Parmar's 2 images. Mr. Ashish Gupta's pictures. Mr. Jyotirmoy Yadav from Lucknow. 2 nature pictures. And then Mr. Biplav Sikdar's 2 images. Very different. And I find it very interesting images.
Yes.
Then Mr. Deshbhushan Jain's. Mr. Jain resides at NCR. And Mr. Suresh Penny's 2 images, I think from Rajasthan.
Jaisalmer.
Jaisalmer, yes. And then Mr. Sanjay Jain's 2 images. Mr. Jain is from Lucknow. And then paintings by the artist. As I have said earlier, all these visual mediums are interconnected. So it is always very beneficial to include the other visual mediums also. So some paintings by the members, Mr. Savrojyoti Bhattacharya's 2 pictures on canvas by acrylic paint, using acrylic paints. And then Mr. Angel Gupta's 2 paintings. 1 painting, I'm sorry. Then Akriti Sinha's painting. 2 paintings are there. Rajiv Agarwal work. And then photos clicked by CV and DCC members. Mr. Akhil Hardias from Indore. Mr. Ahmed Russell from Bangladesh, 2 images. And I think somewhere on the Facebook, I saw this black and white study got some award in the international salon. So hearty congratulate Mr.
Yes.
Russell.
Thank you, sir.
And welcome. Mr. Sudeep Roy's 2 portrait studies. Mr. Prashanta Kumar Das. Chitra Joshi's 2 pictures. Mr. Ajit Joshi's 2 pictures. Amit Shahji's 2 images. Viveen Jaggiji's 2 pictures. Mr. Vishnu Patel's 2 images. Mr. Puneet Katyan's 2 monochrome studies. Mr. Katyan is also from Lucknow. Very nice. And then you have already seen the result. This month's jury was Mr. Sanjay Bose, and these are the awarded pictures. And as a goodwill, this certificate is being given to the honorable jury, Mr. Sanjay Bose by Dhanwad Camera Club, a good initiative. I take this opportunity to congratulate the winners. And then this is the winner of the month. And this is the first runner-up. And this is the second runner-up. And images of the photographs of the month contest, President Choice Awards. Mr. Sitaram Paul was awarded the President Choice Award, and Mr. Sagar Parmar, and the third and the last, Mr. Rakesh Kishore Sahai. So good going. And then again, the media coverage. Last month's photo webinar. And Mukeshji is having a good relationship with the different media houses at Dhanbad, and every time DCC is fortunate enough to have the media coverage, and that is very, very important. And this is some of the statistics you can see, the webinar and different webinar on different dates by the different authors. And as we are on 41st webinar by Anitha Mysore. And this is the membership form of Dhanbad Camera Club. If you find it interesting and wish to be a member of DCC, you can fill this form and pay the membership fee and become the member of Dhanbad Camera Club. And this is the picture. I find this image very interesting. I'll reduce the size so that you can see the picture in full in a glance. Very interesting. Again, this is the Jantar Mantar from Jaipur. Very interesting place for photographers to be there. So this is all about this month's e-bulletin, and I hand over Mukesh to Mukeshji.
Thank you
Over to
very much.
Mukeshji.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, friends, we have reached to the point where we are eagerly waiting to see the amazing photographs of our guest photo presenter tonight, Anitha Mysore. Now I will hand over to Anitha Mysore to share her screen and give her presentation. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Mukesh ji. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
very clear.
Okay, let me first share my screen. Okay, first of all, thank you, Mukesh ji, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Anil ji, for introducing, in detail all this newsletter and also mentioning about me. And also thanks to Vikas for an elaborate introduction. So let me start this webinar with a very brief movie. I hope you're all able to see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Elliot Erwitt has said that photography is the art of observation. It has little to do with the things you see and everything to do with the way you see them. So with this, I'm Anitha Mysore and I welcome you to this webinar on, I'll tell you the topic. So you've already had this introduction about me. Probably you can just make note of my Instagram handles in case you wish to follow me. and I took over recently last month as one of the directors of Youth Photographic Society. So my topic for today's webinar is Beyond the Postcard, Finding Unique Perspectives in Travel Photography. And I hope you like the movie which I played in the beginning. So that's my favorite subject, the Eiffel Tower, but I'm not really going into any details about that. First of all, let me tell you about my gear. So I used to use a Nikon D90 and a D610, which is a full frame with a host of lenses. And this was in the past. So I no longer use all that gear, and my current gear is Nikon Z7. It's a mirrorless, along with two lenses, Z mount 24-120 and 14-24. And I also use a Sony RX10 M4. So this is mainly for wildlife, but I also find it useful for street photography. And my post processing is all in Lightroom, mostly in Lightroom. And in addition to this, I've been using iPhone since 2015. And the pictures that I shoot on iPhone, I post process them in PS Express or Snapseed or Lightroom Mobile. Having said this, the best camera is the one you have with you. But the real magic is in how you see the world. Somebody has said this, and I believe it's really true. So you have to make use of whatever gear you have. It doesn't really matter what exactly you have. So this webinar, I have divided it into 4 sections. So we will be trying to look at these unique perspectives in travel photography by looking at some visual patterns such as the leading lines. Then I talk about how you can include people in travel photography. Then how about landscapes, then architecture. And then I'll give you some tips and tricks. And I'll tell you what my challenges have been in this journey of travel photography, and then we can have some brief discussion on that. So what are leading lines? So leading lines are a visual pattern. They can turn a simple scene into a work of art, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. And leading lines, actually, they help direct the viewer's gaze and emphasize the main subject. They also add depth and perspective. They create a sense of movement, and they can also balance the composition. And this is one of the very common visual patterns that people tend to use. It's something which is quite obvious. You can see them very often, and these are the thing. This is a kind of pattern which people usually get into their photography. Even amateurs begin with leading lines. But I, over the next few pictures, I will show you the kind of leading lines I have shot with. So this is one of my very well awarded pictures. So this is Vatican City. So this was shot from the dome of the St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City in Rome. So this, you can see here the leading lines, they actually, they're not, they kind of, they're there. So if you go to this perspective or go to this level, then you can automatically, you have these leading lines which are there, which are not really leading your gaze into something beyond, but they are enclosing some points of interest within the frame. And incidentally, this picture was shot on my D90 and way back in 2011, and at that time I was just shooting in JPEG, so I don't even have a raw image of this. Then similarly, this one is from the Colosseum in Rome. So here again, you see those lines. So these, they lend themselves to being shot in this way. Of course, you can try a lot of other compositions. Probably this is a postcard shot. It is not going beyond that, because usually when you get to this point, you get to shoot it like this. But this is also, I found this composition also very interesting because of the lines. And incidentally, on it was on the same trip that I shot both the previous one and this picture, and it was raining. So even the previous picture, it was raining. Here also you can see the people with umbrellas here. So it is still okay. You have to make do with whatever weather you get. Now this is a picture of it's shot in Toledo in Spain. And what I found interesting about this picture is the fact that you have the river, which is actually forming a kind of leading line, which it is enclosing the city here. It's actually a walled city, and it is located on a hillock, so to say. So that is what is making this interesting. And in fact, Toledo happened to be the former capital of Spain before Madrid was declared the capital. So it's a very nice city with a lot of ancient history. It's a very nice place. So this is one of the shots that I made over there. Then this one is shot closer home in Hampi. So here again, there are here you can actually make these kind of images, make them leading lines. So once you get to that location, if you've seen these kind of pictures, then you know that you can actually make these kind of leading lines, which are actually leading you to the small temple at the top. So this was shot on the Malyavanta hill. And there are a lot of lingas you can see there on the ground. Then this is shot in, again, one of my favorite places is Paris for travel. I've been there a number of times, and every time I've tried to do something different. So this is one of the famous bridges. It's Passy. It's a 2-level bridge, and you have all these columns here, which you can actually use to create some leading lines. And a lot of these pre-wedding shoots and things like that happen. So it can be very interesting. Now this is another, this is an image shot in Sevilla in Spain. So this place is called the Plaza de España, and this is semicircular in plan. And because of the fact that it is semicircular in plan, it offers innumerable architectural possibilities, so to say. You can shoot with a lot of leading lines, and these they just call out to be shot. It's more like that because they are all there. So you can make really interesting compositions over here. This is another one. In fact, I've been to Sevilla a couple of times, and so every time somehow I get drawn into shooting these kind of images where the leading lines go in this way. And this, as I said, the structure lends itself to it. So this is another one where you can actually make the leading lines. The thing I found interesting about this picture is the fact that I've included the small kink kind of thing here, which is actually giving some kind of depth to where the lines are going. So this one was shot in, again, Spain, but in a place called Ronda. This is a bull ring. It's Plaza de Toros. So the bull fights actually happen over there. And it's a completely, it's like a stadium. So it's a very nice structure where, again, you can make a lot of these images with leading lines. Now, the leading lines don't have to be there in place. So you can really use some objects or some other means of actually making these leading lines happen. And this is one such picture shot in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, where I've used those the lines on the road to actually take you to that building which is at the far end. And similarly here, this is again also shot in Amsterdam. So this is a crossing over there. It's these are queer colors. So this is the road is painted like that. So this, I've tried to make use of this the strips over there to kind of lead your gaze to the person who's crossing the road, and just to cover the entire scenery. Then this is a picture which has been shot in Murano in Venice. So here again, when you go to such places and you just look at it straight up, it doesn't really look like this. So you just have to move to one side, tilt your camera, and then you try to get this angle where you see you can make it into a kind of leading line. So that's most of the places, that's what I try to do. That's my favorite way of doing things. So this one, you're, again, probably most of you are familiar with, especially considering the fact that there are lots of opportunities to visit Ladakh in recent times, and it's been having a lot of tourists. So this one is shot at the Sangam. So instead of the, sorry?
Please switch off your mic, mute yourself.
So this one was shot in, so this one,
madam.
In Sangam. So I've tried to use this river as a leading line to take your gaze to the bridge which is at the far end. Now this is shot in shot in Paris again. So there is a street called Rue des Crémeaux, people are not very familiar with this street. It is just one street which has a lot of these colored houses, and you can actually go and take very nice pictures. And somebody like Anil ji will definitely, you know, can make a lot of unique compositions over here. It lends itself to that. Then this is again for me, these things here generally I tend to shoot like this. As I said, this one is shot in Amsterdam near the canal. So wherever you go there, when you have these kind of parallel lines, you don't really need to shoot them straight. You can shoot it in such a way that it's actually leading into the you know, where you want the viewer's gaze to go. So that's always possible. Similarly here also, this is from another angle. It is just I just try to make it along with the reflection to some extent. Now, there are places where you don't really have leading lines. So you need to, at that time, make some way in which you can actually create those leading lines. So here, this is again a shot from Venice, and here I've tried to use the gondolas in the foreground as a leading line to the structure which is in the background. So you can try to do any of these things. Now here, this is a shot from Santorini in Greece. So here again, I've used the wall on the left side and tried to, you know, create a path so that you can actually go towards the houses that are at the back. So it looks like, you know, it's a way of adding perspective and also directing the gaze. So similarly here again, this is a shot from Netherlands with all the colorful triangular houses. It's very nice. So you can use these, I've used this canal here to shoot it in such a way that it adds a different perspective to this. Then here, what I've tried to do here, this is the same small temple on this Malyavanta hill. So I've used the clouds, the cloud patterns here as leading lines to actually take your attention towards that small temple which is resting on this hillock. So this is another way in which you can use leading lines. So here again, so I've used the lead. It looks like leading lines because the clouds are, you know, almost taking your eyes to the Saraswati temple here, which is in the center. And typically when you try to use a wide angle lens, then you try to, this is what generally happens when you go quite close, and then you automatically get the clouds rendered that way. So this is another shot from Hampi again. At the far end, you see the Krishna temple, and here I've tried to use the clouds as well as the shadow to create the leading line. And incidentally, if you have not visited Hampi, or if you're planning to visit Hampi, I can just say that this shot was made in August. So at this time, you should definitely be prepared for gray, rainy days. But at the same time, there are numerous opportunities for you to get such lovely cloud patterns. So it's a wonderful place to be, and you can really shoot a lot of architecture and these kind of things. It's very nice. So this is another shot also from Hampi. It's the elephant stable. So here I've used the clouds and the foreground and the path in the foreground to actually create kind of leading lines to the elephant stable. So the leading lines can also create a sense of movement, I said. So whenever you find these spiral staircases, so this automatically, you know, it's a very, you cannot go wrong with this composition. So it's a very, everybody likes these kind of compositions where you keep going round and round. So this was shot in the Vatican museums in Vatican City. So at that time, I was not really aware of all the combinations that I could do. So this was quite some time back, and I would definitely like to go there again to try more of these things. So this is another shot from Venice. So here I've tried to use the side walls to give a sense of movement to the boat that is coming there. Again, here also you can make many such compositions. It's really a beautiful city, and you can do whatever. All these kind of things are very nice. And here again, there are no specific leading lines I can say, but the leading lines are created by the motion of the boat, which is in the center. So this is taking your way all the way to the back of the picture where you have those structures. So let's go to the next section. So people are the heart and soul of travel, and capturing their essence is what makes the experience truly unforgettable. And how can people make a difference? We all know that, but we can see in the following slides some pictures where I try to show how people can add a sense of scale. They can provide a context and a sense of place. They can tell a story, or they can depict culture. So this is a picture that I've shot in Cappadocia in Turkey. So it's a very vast landscape, and look at the people there. So they're so tiny. I mean, they look quite tiny when compared to the vastness of the landscape. So this is how you can bring in that the people into the frame to give the scale. You can really see how big the place is. And similarly, this is another landscape from Cappadocia. So here you can see how big the landscape is compared to the people. So it just gives you a really a proportion of how things are. And it makes it more interesting versus not having any people at all in the frame and just shooting a landscape. So this was shot in Rotterdam in Netherlands, and here this is the central station. It's a very nice structure, very simple. So you can just see it's just a triangle, but it looks so imposing when you go and stand in front of this. This shot I have made it on a 1424, and I have had to go back and then do that. So when you go close, you can't really cover it. And what I found interesting here was including this person here in yellow. You see that there is a clock in yellow, and there is also a metro symbol in yellow. So I found this to be very interesting with the lines in the foreground. Of course, probably what could have made it even better is having those other yellow cycles also in line. I waited for a while, but that didn't happen. Those people went away there only. So you can actually include people to show the scale like this. And this one is again, this I included it as a part of the movie, have brought it in over here also because it shows how imposing the Eiffel Tower is. Generally, when you see it from afar, you don't really, you know that it is quite big. But then just look at this, when you go to this angle, you see how small the people are, and it is really towering above you. So this gives a sense of scale. Now, you can also use people in the frame to bring a sense of place or context. Now, when you look at something like this, a tram, and these buildings and things like that, then you know that this is a specific place. This was shot in Lisbon, and this person typically the way it goes is here you have wherever you have trams. I'm sure even in Kolkata it is like that. So people also keep crossing the paths, and it's, you can see the houses are here, the tramway is here, it is just so close. You just come out of the house and you're there into the tram station. So it's a, that way I feel it's a very nice storytelling picture. What actually happened here was that we were going walking on the tram path, and suddenly we come across this tram which was standing at its station. We didn't know it was a station. We started to take pictures, and all of a sudden it started moving down. So it was rather sudden, and it just went off, and then we could then we saw all this happening. But it also makes sense to look around you and then see if you can get more things happening when you are in when you're doing travel photography. Now here I've included these two people from a low angle into this shot. So it's a storytelling picture. They're tourists. I don't know whether they're tourists or whatever, but they are on a cycle tour, and then they're looking at this Plaza de España. And here, this I like this shot because there is a family of four in all hues, and you can see very vibrant colors, and they're probably going on an afternoon cycle ride, and it's in the backdrop of the Notre Dame. So it's a kind of storytelling picture. So that's why I like to include these people here. And this one again, there is this is shot in Rotterdam. So this guy who's in orange, so this is more like the Swiggy people, that the delivery people that we have, I think they call it Flink or something over there. So these guys in Rotterdam, this is one thing that I found very interesting. Wherever you go, these people were in orange. So it was, orange is such a nice color. It's the color of Holland anyway. But just to in such a gray landscape, to have this colorful person coming in, it was very nice. And it also shows that come rain or shine, he has to do his work. So that's what I found interesting about this. Then this one is from Paris, and this is one of my favorite places. It's a patisserie, it's a bakery. I've never been there to eat anything as such, but always to shoot pictures, because there are always interesting scenes in the front. So as in any, in Europe, in any place, all these tables and chairs are laid out on the pavement, and there people are served there only. So this is very interesting. The colors of this next to this building, they are also very interesting. So this makes a nice storytelling picture. Maybe these two are gossiping. Then this one is again in Paris. It's called the Shakespeare and Company. So it's a very old bookstore, and many artists in the past, they used to stay in this bookstore, and in exchange for being allowed to stay there, they used to help out in the bookstore, and they came there mainly to make paintings and all that. So it's a really famous bookstore, and they don't allow you to shoot inside. And I found this person outside, typical of the old part of Paris, is the Latin quarters, where the ancient structures are preserved. So if you're there, I would say anytime that's the best place to stay. So I found this, this was a very interesting shot. This one was shot in Kinderdijk in Netherlands. So this is something typical. If I had just shot it without these people and just a windmill, then it would just have been a picture which didn't come alive. But the fact that these two people are there, and it's again also telling a story, and it's making the picture come alive. And this one is indicating a story, so to say, because this is shot in Venice, and you can see that the people are walking on these benches. So what happens in Venice is that because it is almost at the sea level or below the sea level, it gets flooded whenever it rains. And they have these benches actually stacked up along many streets. There are no vehicles allowed inside. It's mainly the boats. So what they do is they put up these benches, and people have to walk over them. I have been to Venice only once, and I didn't really know too much about it. Probably if I had studied the culture before I went there, then I would have tried to make even better pictures. But that is one thing I will be telling you at the end, that you need to know the culture of the place before you go there, so that you can really make very interesting pictures. And then you can include culture. So that's definitely giving a sense of the place and the culture of the people over there. So this was shot in Segovia in Spain. So you will this was something, this happens unexpectedly. When I went there, I never knew that such a thing was happening, and I just turned around, and then these people were coming, and I took the shot. So and some such things, such festivals and things like that, in a foreign country especially, you may not know all the time. It could be very spontaneous. And here, this one is a shot from Tokyo, from the temple in Asakusa. So this is similar to the temples we have over here, but they are Buddhist temples, and people actually come and put some the incense, they put that, and then they go in and all that. And I felt this couple here, probably they happened to meet after a while, I don't know. So I found that this was an interesting thing to include as a part of this picture. This one is again very much closer home in Shravana during the Mahamastaka Abhisheka. So I kind of, while shooting it, I realized that this can be a nice picture, because there is just the one person over here, and I titled it the Holy Grail. So this title, I had it in mind while shooting the picture. So somehow I thought that that's what it is. It should be with the milk which is falling when the Mahamastaka Abhisheka is done. This one is one of my most, probably not one of, it is the most awarded picture. It's called the Flower Shower, and also happened during the Mahamastaka Abhisheka in Shravana. So you see the having the people in the frame is actually bringing it alive. So I have some pictures which when I went to Shravana Belagola at some other time when this festival was not happening, and there were very few people, and it doesn't give the same kind of feeling. So you really need to be in such situations and include people and to really bring the culture alive. This one is Teyam, shot in Kerala. And why I use this picture here was not just to show the culture, but I just wanted to tell the fact that I shot this picture at 10,000 ISO. So we don't have to be afraid to shoot at high ISO, because these days the cameras are really very good, and you can easily remove the noise if at all you want to. So you can really go up and you can do that. So this is Teyam. Then this is another shot within Teyam again. And here I've tried to use a slow shutter speed just to indicate or, just to capture the movement of this person. So usually they come and do the spinning and all that. So you should know beforehand that such a thing is going to happen, so that you can automatically make sure that you have the right shutter speed set when they start to do this. This I just included this just to show that within travel photography you can also use juxtaposition. So this was shot in Varanasi. So you have a lot of street art over there and a lot of people. So you can wait for the right moment to actually have the person juxtaposed against the street art, and you can make really very interesting images. Now, this is a picture of the Vidya Shankara temple in Sringeri. It's a very nice temple. It's a lovely architecture. So, why I have put this picture here? So, why I have put this picture here?
Wait, madam. Friends, please mute yourself. Okay, carry on. I am muted.
Yeah. So, the reason why I've put this picture is take a good look at it and then look at this picture. So, this is the picture where there are no people. It's all just plain without any people. And here, if you see, there are people. It's actually bringing the frame alive. And at this point, what I would like to say is, in the beginning of my travel photography journey, I used to wait until everybody cleared and then only took the picture. Thinking back, I feel that was so dumb. But then every time it used to happen, I used to just wait. Any monument, any place I go, just wait for everyone to clear and then shoot. Then at some point I realized that it is more important to have people in the frame than to just shoot the monument all by itself. So that's when I've started to include more and more people and wait to make some interesting compositions with people. Now let's move to the next section. So this is about landscapes. So in travel photography, landscapes are the silent storytellers, conveying the history, culture, and the mood of a place without words. So it could be natural environment. Traditionally, landscapes are, we talk about natural environment, but landscapes could also include cityscapes and seascapes. So here we are with the Pangong Lake in Ladakh. So this is one of the pictures I like most because of the patterns of the clouds also, which are kind of balancing the composition, I felt. Then I have last year I was in Ladakh along with Satish, and it was very interesting. So we made a lot of pictures, and this one I titled it Three Cheers. Because of the cloud patterns, you can really combine the cloud patterns with the mountains or any foreground to make very interesting pictures. Then this one is also from Ladakh. I titled it The Living Landscape because somehow I felt that name lent itself to it. So you have these wild asses in the foreground, and it's really something which is alive. So that's how I called it this. Then this is another shot from Ladakh. So this was in Hanle. And here you see this I shot with a 600 mm. So it was very far off. So with the 600 mm, I could get this monastery here along with the, the shapes, the triangular shapes of the mountains. And I like this shot a lot. This one is again shot with a 600 mm, my Sony RX10. So this is the Shanti Stupa. So when we were on our way to, I think Kardungla or somewhere, so from very far off, we could see this and the play of light and shadow. So it's very important, even in travel photography, to include play of light. So it makes really interesting images. Then this one is probably something which everybody will have, because when you go when you're going to Pangong, the first thing that you would see is this is the first view of Pangong, but I shot it with a 600 mm, so I've got it more closer than otherwise, with all the different patterns. Now this is again also in Ladakh, in the Nubra Valley. So this is a reflection shot. And as I was telling you, the camera you have is not always important. It only matters who is behind the camera. This one was actually shot on my iPhone. So off late, iPhone has also introduced Pro RAW. So you can shoot in RAW and you can actually do the post processing. This one was also shot on the iPhone. This is also a landscape from Ladakh. So now, as I said, landscapes need not be just natural environment. They can also include man-made objects or man-made structures. So this one is a landscape from Netherlands. So it's on the outskirts of Amsterdam. It's a place called Broek in Waterland, and it gives a very nice mood over here. You can see the ducks, which almost look like they're shivering. It was very cold. And anyway, this lake was quite big. It was not frozen, but you can get a feel for that atmosphere over here. And this one also shot in Netherlands, in a place called Marken. All these are within um, a day's distance, I mean, you can go and come back, so they're quite close by. You can take public transport and go. So they're very interesting places, very quiet. So this was on an afternoon, so you can see there is life here. It is conveying something, even though there are no people. You see the clothes that are hanging, then there are a couple of birds in the sky, everything is sleeping, and you see the canals are all frozen. So it's giving a very nice mood over here. This is also another picture from Netherlands. Now this place is Giethoorn. It is called as a Dutch Venice. So the important thing about this village is that there are no roads here. So there are only pathways, and each house there are only canals. So each house, you can access each house only by boat. And what happens is that um, we had planned a 1-day trip from Amsterdam, and we were going there, and on the way we came to know that all the canals are frozen. As a part of that trip, there is a boat ride that is included, so that it takes you within the canals, and you can go closer. And then we found that everything was frozen, so they said, actually here in this part I think it started to melt, but here you see in the farther part it's all frozen. So there are other pictures, but it was one way good, because we could go walking and then we could make a lot of these pictures. Very interesting houses and very beautiful. And this, I had been there in winter, end of February or beginning of March, but if you go there in April, May, everything is going to be even more colorful. So you can definitely try and do that. Now this one is a cityscape or a landscape, whatever you call it, from Santorini. So here again, it's very typical. Um, you can see this, I think in most pictures in Santorini, you will see this. There are different ways in which to get these viewpoints. So I have included this one. This is a picture which is shot in Kyoto in Japan. Unfortunately, we were outside of the peak of autumn. So you still see some colors, but most of the colors had gone. And I found this very interesting, because you have these people here, and it somehow adds to what is happening. It's kind of, it speaks about the place. This is a picture from Kinderdijk again. This was on my last trip a few months ago. And unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately. So just to give an example, that you just have to make do with whatever situation is there. we had planned a trip here and we went there and it was raining. So it was raining almost until afternoon. The whole day from morning till then it was raining, and we just had to, with an umbrella and all that, we tried to make whatever shots was possible. And after 3 o'clock this started to happen. It's the same place, but everything started opening up, and it was all like the clouds and the sky went crazy, and there were a lot of patterns and all that. But again, unfortunately, we couldn't stay until sunset, or at least closer to sunset, because the last boat from this place to go back to Rotterdam was at around 5 o'clock, and we had to leave by that boat. So sometimes you really need to, I mean, you don't have a choice. We could have gone by car, but we were not driving there. So such things also matter if you are interested in getting really good pictures towards the golden hours. It's very important. Now, this is, I would say, more of a seascape, but it is shot in Gibraltar. So this Gibraltar is the southernmost tip of Europe. And in fact, when we go from Spain to Gibraltar, we have to actually, get our visa. We should have a separate visa kind of thing. There is an immigration check which happens. And I don't know if you can see over here, somewhere here, there's an airport. It's a very small place. It just has a big rock. I didn't put that picture over here. So there is an airport, and just like a railway crossing, when you come to the other side, you have to actually walk on the runway and you have to cross the runway. And whenever there is a plane taking off or landing, they close the gates and they don't allow you to go. Fortunately or unfortunately, that didn't happen when we were there. So we didn't have to wait when the plane took off, but it was fun. We could, cross the runway and then we could just go to the other side. So nightscapes are also a part of landscapes. So this one is shot in San Francisco, Ghirardelli. So very interesting. You can get a lot of colors. I'm sure many of you have done this. This one is from Amsterdam. So whenever possible, it is good to shoot with the reflection. It gives a nice feel. So if you can do the scapes with the reflection, it will be very nice. So this was shot in the early morning. And generally in Amsterdam, I found that very early in the morning, the water is totally still. But the moment a bird, there are a lot of ducks, and if one of them starts moving, everything starts moving, or all the ducks in the vicinity, they start moving, and then there'll be a lot of disturbance in the water. Now let's go to architecture. So the beauty of architecture is that it can be found in the grandest of structures and the smallest of details. So it can be iconic buildings, historical architecture, modern architecture, it could be details in architecture, or it could be the use of lighting in architecture. So here, this is again shot in Paris, and here you see all the red chimneys over there. So this is typical of the Latin quarters or the old part of Paris. So this can, in the backdrop of Notre Dame. So this can be a very interesting shot. Then this is a shot of the Sacré-Cœur church, and this one is actually, I have tried to shoot it in such a way that it looks like it is arising from these clump of trees. Then you can use play of light. As I said, in architecture, this is the stone chariot in Hampi. Though the elephant's face is not visible here, you can get very interesting light, and you can shoot a lot of these. When you're interested in these lights and shadows, this is the best place to be. This is also from Hampi. This is the octagonal bath. So here also you can make very interesting compositions, and especially when you're trying to combine it with the clouds, it can be very nice. So this is again another temple in Hampi. So there are many such things. It's a photographer's paradise, I can say. So this is another one. So it's possible, you just look for some patterns. If they are there, then it is very nice. I titled it the smoking ruins. So it looks like there is some smoke coming out of this the ruins of this temple. Now this one is from the Palais Garnier in Paris. It's a very beautiful place. It's the opera, and there are a lot of things you can do over here. You can spend a day, you can spend more, you can make a lot of good compositions. And this is not something that I have seen generally. So you see an upfront shot with a staircase which is leading both ways. I try to do a lot of different compositions over here. The one on the right is also from Palais Garnier, and the one on the left, sorry, and the one on the right is from Notre Dame Cathedral. Right now it is under repair, so they're not, I don't think they're allowing us to go in. But typically the way we shoot would be not like this maybe. So I try to use the candles in front to give a different perspective to the cathedral. So this is more of how people generally shoot. Cathedrals are very good places for shooting architecture. Then these two shots are again from the Plaza Espana in Sevilla, and both of them happen to be shots from my iPhone. So you can really make very beautiful images over here. These columns are all very nice, and there are a lot of beautiful paintings over here. So porcelain, done in porcelain, it's very nice. Then this is another place. It's the Pina Palace in Sintra in Portugal, a very colorful place. And I mean, I can only think of Anilji in all these places. So you see this, very nice. You can make a lot of different things. Maybe I didn't really utilize the opportunity that much, but definitely if I go again, I'll do that. It's very, very interesting. Then this is the Louvre, the glass pyramid of the Louvre. So there are many different ways in which you can shoot this. At some point you get lost. What can I do? How can I do it? So there are so many different things you can do. This one is from Burano in Italy, again, as I said. So this is more of a postcard, not anything very different. But it's very interesting here because of the very colorful houses. So this architecture is very typical there. And apparently these houses are colored in this way so that the fishermen know from far which is their house. So that's what I read. So this is very interesting. Here also you can make lots of interesting compositions. This one is again Santorini, but it's a different composition. I've tried to include a close-up of this, not a overall shot. So you can go even closer and make. There are so many such houses. You can make really different compositions over here. This one is from Valencia in Spain. You would have seen many pictures of this aquarium and this dome-like structure. So they're very nice. At this time, I didn't really know. It was very, very long back. But this is one of the, and this bridge also, it's very nice. So you can make very interesting compositions over there. Now here, this one is a shot from the Tokyo Forum in Tokyo. And what is interesting about this is that it is a reflection. So it's a reflection along this. And when we talk about reflections, we generally think about water as a reflecting surface. But here, I've not used, there is no water, of course. There is a glass panel. There's a glass panel here, and I've used that glass panel as the surface, as a reflective surface to get this point of view. And here again, it's an architectural marvel. You can do a lot of things. This one is also, this is not from the Tokyo Forum. It is quite close to that. But there are many such structures in Tokyo that you can shoot like this. And this is also a reflection. So I've shot this against the glass. So the center one is a glass. So you can actually see the reflection of the structure in the glass. And that's how this picture has been shot. Then this is a portion of a bridge. So this, I found it interesting because there is also a yellow van that is moving over here. It was shot in Rotterdam. Then this is the famous cube houses. So after I saw the picture of these cube houses somewhere, I just thought I had to make a trip here. And on the last trip, we planned to go to Rotterdam and then visited this place. And this one again is an architectural marvel. I mean, it's a photographer's paradise, I can say. So you can shoot a lot of different compositions, and you don't know where to stop, what to include, what not to include. So this is one of the compositions from the same place. Okay, now coming to I didn't specifically mention this section, but long exposures, they can turn a chaotic scene into a tranquil one, smoothing out the movement and creating a sense of calm. So what I have tried to do in recent times, I mentioned that in the beginning I was very averse to having people in the frame, and I used to wait till they moved away. And then I started to bring people into the frame to make it come alive. Now I've come to a stage where I'm trying to actually remove people again, but by using a different technique, which is a long exposure. So when you do these kind of long exposures, you see the ghosting. So there are a lot of people moving around, but by using long exposure, in fact, this one was about 5 minutes long, and I couldn't take too many shots of 5 minutes because the colors didn't stay that long. So it started and then it was gone. But it's very interesting when you have a lot of moving clouds and things like that. Long exposures can be really interesting to get these kind of shots. So this one is also a long exposure, but the thing is that it was during the blue hour and it was very cloudy. So you don't, it can't have too much of the same kind of effect when there are these kind of clouds. So you need to have those white clouds which are puffy and they're moving. So these ones are not so great. Then this, I tried to do a similar thing over here. But again, there were, you can just see some movement here at the back, but it was not really so obvious. But this one is also a long exposure. And this one is also a long exposure, but not in the traditional sense that I'm talking about. So um, you again, you can't really make out too much because it's quite it's already past the blue hour over here. This is incidentally the Swan Bridge in Rotterdam. Again, it's very it lends itself to being shot in very unique ways. Now this is the shot from Sringeri. So that Vidyashankara temple that I showed you. So this is the front view, and here I've tried that long exposure again, and so this has caused the ghosting of the people who are trying to enter the temple. I mean, somehow I tend to go towards these things nowadays. So that's how I ended up with this shot. Travel photography is a personal journey, and the most important thing is to find your own way and capture the beauty of the world in your own unique way. And that's what I think I have tried to do. If I have to give you some tips, so what I would say is that before going or visiting any place, try to get as much information about the place as possible. You make a list of all the places that you want to photograph, how to get to each location, where you should stay, what is the weather in that place. Then look up the works of other photographers at these locations. And this is not to replicate the work that is done by these photographers, but it can help you come up with your own perspectives of what you can do over there. Just before this, when Anilji was talking about the newsletter, he mentioned the same thing. It is good to look at works of other people so that you know there are so many different ways, and you can also think of other ways in which you can make your own shots. And it's very important to plan as much as possible, but you have to be flexible to adapt the plan based on the situation. Then you look for off beaten paths to find some new locations, study the culture of a place. It's very important, especially if you're including people in your frames. If I take the example of Tokyo, people don't mind being photographed, nobody asks anything, so they are very very friendly, and then they just allow you to photograph them. Whereas in other places, I know that people are not they don't like to be photographed, and even if you ask for permission, people may say no. So you really need to know the culture of the place if you have to do these kind of things. And what I would suggest in my experience is that if you combine outdoor shoots, of course, when you are planning photography at a location, you may have both outdoor shoots as well as indoor shoots. Keep your outdoor shoots for the golden hours. And all the indoor shoots, you can anyway, it doesn't matter what the weather is outside. So you can always do that during when there is harsh light, or if it's raining, or if it's gray, whatever. So you can actually manage your shoots in that way. And you choose the right location for your stay. That's very important because you need to get to the locations at the right time. So if you have to if you are in the right location, you will be able to go to your shooting location in time. And if you're in you can also check for the weekly or daily passes, etc., for transport and for entry into monuments and things like that. Try to include as many visual patterns as possible, and don't be afraid to shoot into the sun. You can actually make very creative images. I've made 2 or 3, I didn't put them over here. I'm still experimenting with those. You experiment with long exposures and with high angle and low angle shots, and post process your images. That is important before you actually share them. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. This is very important. You can't go to a location and then find that no, your battery, you ran out of battery, or you didn't bring the lens, or you forgot the filter, or you didn't bring the tripod, or you didn't bring enough memory cards. Those things cannot happen. You have to have all those things. That's a given. You should be ready the previous day itself. You have to make sure everything is ready for the next day, and then go there. But you should be also ready to adapt your plan. So travel photography is a constant balance between planning and spontaneity. You have to be prepared for any situation, but also open to unexpected opportunities that can result in the most compelling images. Michael Yamashita has said this, it is very true. You definitely have to be ready to adjust to any situation. The challenges I faced as a travel photographer is, first of all, making time to shoot, because most of my travel has been around work. So I try to take a day off before and after work, and I try to plan during that time. So I just have to take whatever comes, because first of all, my official travel is not during summer or during good times. It's usually during winter or something like that. So it I have to make do with whatever is there. And again, as I said, getting to locations during golden hours is critical. It's a big challenge for me, because our hotel may be somewhere else, and then if I have to go to some place, it's quite difficult to get to that point. So at least on the days that I have earmarked for just photography, I can try and do that. But that has been also one of my biggest challenges, and making the most of any situations amidst uncertainties is this is a big challenge because of the weather mainly. You never know how the weather can be. It can be very, very unpredictable. So it can be very good, it can be very bad, but you have to adapt. Okay, if it's bad, you try to do something there in that weather. And in places like Paris, you don't know when there are strikes. So there can be strike anytime, no buses, no public transport. Then of course you can always walk, but you have to be prepared for such things. And another challenge for me is to find new perspectives. So I want to present things in a way that looks different from whatever is the cliche. So that has been one of my biggest challenges. And finally, to thank Satish for referring me to DCC, Mukesh ji and everybody in DCC for giving me this opportunity, and all of you here on the call for a very patient hearing and taking time off from your family, especially on a Sunday evening. And last but not the least, ChatGPT at openai.com. ChatGPT has become my friend now, and most of the information I try to put in this, apart from the photographs, is the content that I got from ChatGPT. So if you have any questions, I'm at the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Beautiful. Everyone is spellbound.
I was wondering whether I was talking to nobody till now.
No, everyone was listening you very, very seriously, and I could not move my eyes out of your photos. Fantastic photos. Every image is perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Anitha ma'am, my name is Dr. Suresh.
Yes, doctor. I've heard a lot about you.
Thank you so much. Your pictures are wonderful. But I have one query.
Okay.
There was a picture that you showed in Turkey.
Doctor, just a minute. Doctor, just a minute. Anitha madam, stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Stop sharing your screen. Yeah. Yes, doctors. Dr. Suresh Pani, please.
Okay. Did you hear me, Anitha madam?
Yeah. Carry on now.
Okay. There was a picture that you shot in Turkey You remember that?
Yeah.
I'm also a global traveler, and
Okay.
I take shots all over the world.
Okay.
But this particular place I have not gone. Can you describe where this place is? Is it in the eastern part or the western part of Europe?
It's Cappadocia.
Yeah,
Cappadocia in Turkey.
Is it near Istanbul?
No. It is to the east of Istanbul.
Say,
It is towards the center of Turkey. It is not. Istanbul is somewhere
yeah,
down.
I have been there. I have gone there for a photo shoot. But unfortunately, I have not come to know about this place that you shot. So I'm
Okay.
quite curious to know which place is that. That's why.
Cappadocia is very popular for these hot air balloons. You would have seen a lot of these balloon
Yes.
pictures. So that is there in Cappadocia. It's also there in Pamukkale, but this one is Cappadocia. It has this a very distinct architecture. Landscape. It's like a Mars landscape. So you have everything is totally different over there. It's very nice.
So where did you stay, in Istanbul or in this place?
No, in Cappadocia.
You
It's
stayed-
quite far. You have to take a plane from Istanbul, or you can take a
okay,
bus,
all right.
overnight bus. So
Okay, doctor. Madam, let me say something about your presentation.
Okay, Keshji.
Practically, we travel across the globe through your images. And I was so much surprised to find the images from so many countries like Venice, Italy, Rome, France, Spain, Netherlands, Tokyo, USA, Greece. But your images from Hampi in Karnataka was fantastic. And the way you have used the amazing clouds as a leading line for the monuments and all, it is mind-blowing.
Thank you.
And then your style of travel photography is fantastic, which gives a fragrance of all types of composition patterns, whether it is a leading line, reflection, use of golden colors, use of long exposure. Fantastic. You have done everything, and we are very much, I can say, honored and privileged to have a photo presenter like you on our platform. Thank you very much, madam. And before I ask others to ask any question, let me read some comments on the chat box. One of the comment is from Krish Kapoor Saab, awesome images. Somebody wrote beautiful images of a master. Then a very good presentation. Anitha, proud of you. Amazing shots. Enjoyed the talk. Excellent pictures with enchanting effect. Grand presentation. Wonderful presentation, Anitha ji. I'm not able to get the names of the participants, but these are the comments. Wonderful presentation, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. The amazing virtual tool. Thanks for sharing. Beautifully outlined presentation, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks, Anitha ji, for such a wonderful presentation. Wonderful pictures, Anitha. I had not seen them, though I am from all your success of salons and so and so. Great words. And then so many words are there. I'm very happy to see the chat box full with so many comments. So now I'll invite any question answers from the participants. Please, before anybody asks any questions, I'll request Anil ji, because Anil sir has seen a lot of, I could watch his expression, the way he was seeing your work on, I can say, patterns and everything. So Anil sir, please.
Well, I wanted to make a comment. I'm so impressed with your accomplishments.
Yeah.
First, Anitha, and your A Day with Eiffel, the way you started it out with the video presentation and music, I think was a great way. It's so creative to introduce us to your work and your viewpoint. Wonderful. all the images. It was interesting to me because your part where you said you waited for people to leave, like for a monument and stuff, I tend to do that. And you're absolutely correct. I need to write a big note and put it on my camera so I remember to get the people in there. I tend to do the same thing. And it's like, I need to remember to do that because your examples were so good. And yeah, for each of the leading lines and the people and every concept that you talked about, the examples that you used to illustrate were just wonderful. Every image stood out as just outstanding. So thank you. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Anil, sir. Your audio is muted, sir. Audio unmute कीजिए.
Sorry, I am
yeah.
sorry. What to say? This presentation was very interesting, very absorbing, and very inspiring too. And Anitha ji made us to travel whole of the world. And as I said, this is the real power of photography. Very unique way of taking travel pictures. It is very true. It's a different perspective of travel photography. I congratulate Anitha ji and thank her for her presentation. And I also thank Dhanbad Camera Club to make us possible to have this presentation from Anitha ji. That's all.
Thank you, Anil ji.
Yes, Thri साहब आप कुछ बोले थे लेकिन अधूरा रह गया था.
Sir, it was a perfect and wonderful presentation and very systematic. I think the other presenters should learn something about how to present a photo travel presentation. So many things I learned out of it. Every image was perfect. The post-processing was also fantastic. But the way a travel photographer should take photographs and present them, that is something very, very, very informative. And I'm sure all those who are watching this thing, they will enjoy it very much. Thanks a lot, Anitha ji. I know you are a great photographer. We had a nice time with you in Bangalore and in Kostani also. We wait for you again. Thanks. Lovely Mukesh ji. Lovely Dhanbad Camera Club. I really liked it. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ashok Karanji, please unmute yourself. Ashok Karanji. Ashok Karanji.
Yes, sir.
Please unmute yourself.
Hi.
Say something.
Hi.
Mukesh ji, Ashok ji has also to present something.
Yeah, Ashok Karanji is a senior press photographer from Hindustan Times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Ashok ji.
Really, it was a very nice experience to see the pictures of Anitha ji. All pictures were so eye-catching. It was an effect of just say of magic on anybody's mind. And the way she shot the pictures, the contours of the architecture were so straight. I was thinking how it happened, because when you are using wide lens, sometimes it distorts, but the contours were very straight. So really, it was a great experience for me, and I congratulate Anitha ji for bringing us such a nice presentation before us. And really, we are very much inspired by her pictures and the enchanting effect of the picture, which deeply engraved in our mind. Thank you very much, Anitha.
Thank you so much.
And DC.
Yeah. Anybody else, please feel free to ask any questions. Even you can ask some technical questions. What techniques he's using in slow shutter speed photography in travel.
Yeah, just I want to know how she made so slow the shutter speed, say 5 minutes during, that was I think in the evening.
No, that was in the morning. It was
Morning.
around sunrise, and I've
Oh.
used filters. I've used ND
Yeah,
filter, 10
right,
stop
right.
ND filter.
10 stops.
Yes, yes. And
Oh.
also, I mean, at that time I didn't have, I had borrowed it from my friend, and later I got a full set. I have now a 16 stop ND filter also. So I plan to,
All the filters are separate filters.
yeah, they are actually the NISI filters. That's what I
Needs to
use.
be,
There are four
yeah.
of them. So I can just use one of them. So I don't have to stack them. So they are circular filters. So I find that more convenient to use than the square filters.
Yes, Anitha ji, I have one question from you
Okay.
about the use of these ND filters.
Mm.
Although we have to keep stacking of a lot of ND filters, 4 stop, 8 stops, and 12 stops. And nowadays, one variable ND filter has come in the market.
Yeah.
Mm.
So by using only one variable filter, we can do the photography for any situation. What is your experience on this?
I have not used the variable ND filter. So what I felt was actually I tried with the square ones, which are not variable actually.
Yeah.
And then I prefer to use the circular one. And somehow I feel, okay, I really, as I said, I haven't used the variable ones, but I was more comfortable using the, the fixed ones. So that,
Stop.
I know exactly what I can get.
Yeah, Anitha ji, earlier I was using 8 stops and 4 stops in the filter, but finally I thought to make me more light while traveling. I bought a variable ND filter, and I'm telling you, I'm very happy with that. With the one circular variable ND filter, I can tackle any kind of situation. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, doctor.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay. This question is to Anitha ji.
Mm.
In one of your photographs, especially in the long exposure, okay, now you have depicted the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
In the long exposure. And you have also said that you have taken it in the long exposure so that the people can be removed.
Yes.
Now, yes, I hope you remember that image.
Yes, very much.
Now, but what I was doing was, I also take the same way, but I also go in my post and remove the people completely. But in your image, I do in the long exposure. In the long exposure, in Anitha ji's this thing, the long exposure, the people still can be seen. The smudge is there. I hope you understand what I'm trying to mean.
Yes.
Like when anyone sees your image in the long exposure, they can still see the outline of the people.
Yes.
Now, do you think that is feasible?
Right now, I think yes, but I don't know. Going forward, it may change because right now, sometimes like the other picture that I showed from Sringeri, where everybody is going into the temple.
Yes, I remember that picture.
So there, I have many frames where there were some people who were standing away from that. So it's not looking so nice to have some ghosts over there. But if all the ghosts are going inside, it's very streamlined. It looks nice. So that is fine. But in the Eiffel Tower picture,
I'm talking about the Eiffel Tower picture.
Yeah.
That is what it caught my mind, because that was like the people is more or less removed, but still you can see the outline of the people there.
The ghosting,
so what I'm trying to ask you is, because is it okay if we have that outline?
No, it's again, if it's not a general rule or something like that. So if you think you like to have the ghosting, you can keep it. And I personally, at least at this time, there is one, I think there were a couple of people who were more or less stationary. I can see their form more clearly than anybody else. So I felt that gives a good impression, I thought, because there are people, and I have taken it in such a way that the structure is standing out. So it is making it smooth. In fact, I've seen the works of a few photographers where if one person is fully stationary for that long and everything else is moving, not really in front of the Eiffel Tower, but even in a street scene, it looks very beautiful. So so I really want to make those kind of images going forward. So that's the idea. But here I was trying to capture the cloud movement, and yes, for now I think I will keep the people, but let's see. Because anyway,
Anitha,
this,
actually, if those people who are in the frame, if they don't see it, it's okay. Otherwise, we all love it. Okay.
सतीश जी आप
So,
कहाँ थे आप
good evening. मैं शुरू से सर शुरू से यहाँ हूँ सर,
लेकिन आपका विजुअल नहीं है, इसीलिए हम परेशान थे।
अरे वीडियो में क्या फर्क पड़ता है, मेरा
तो
पिक्चर तो है। फिर
ऐसे
क्या
हम
बात है सर,
पूरा लिस्ट को हमने चेक किया कि सतीश जी कहाँ है।
अरे मैं ऊपर में मेरा नाम था सर।
चलिए
Good evening, Mukesh ji, Trish Kapoor ji, and Anil ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And we are really proud of Mrs. Anitha Mysore, and
Yes.
I am more proud that she is from Youth Photographic Society, where we have got treasure of talented people in our club, and hopefully she has given an excellent presentation on one of the most easy subjects, that is travel photography.
Outstanding, sir.
Outstanding images she has shown. Though it is very easy, travel photography, presentation is not very easy. In fact, putting up the excellent images and taking those travel images with some pictorial touch is very, very important.
Beautiful.
And she has shown very good images, and explanation was very good. And I am short of all adjectives because everybody has used it so far. So thank you, DCC, for having Anitha ji's presentation.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you so much.
for recommending her.
I am always there for the best of the talents. I don't mind recommending, sir. I am also learning from them.
28 November.
Satish, I felt more comfortable after I saw that you had joined the presentation.
Oh, great.
Actually, Satish ji, I was looking for you long time. But anyway, the real credit goes to you.
No, sir. Anytime for you.
On our platform.
लड़की
अमिताभ जी, please switch off.
जॉब करती है, विप्रो में है.
Yes, somebody's mic was on. So I'm really thankful to you. Anybody else?
Most welcome, sir.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to speak.
Please.
Hi, everyone. This is Pawan Joshi from Adavi Alert. And in fact, Vikas Shastri added me to this particular conversation, I would say, this call. Since I'm a nature and conservation photographer, I did not have a flavor of the other genre of photography, but today Anitha actually opened my eyes. Fantastic photos, wonderful presentation, and you actually stuck to the point and the target what you had. Thanks again, ma'am. So it was fantastic watching your photos and your work, and you have traveled so far, and also watching other seniors here. It's always an inspiration for people like us. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Please keep watching our webinar. We conduct every month.
Yeah, Mukesh sir, actually Pawan Joshi is actually heading an organization called Adavi Alert, which is doing a lot of conservation work here in Karnataka, especially in the Coorg areas. And these people are working towards supporting the frontline forest department personnel who actually take care of so many things. Especially there are situations where forest fire and all these things happen. They strive so much to save the forest, animals, everything, every aspect of the forest, in fact. So these people, it's an NGO who is working to better the lives of the frontline workers, especially in the Nagarhole, Coorg areas, South Coorg areas. And it was very nice. Actually, we recently connected with them. A contest is coming up of Adavi Alert in collaboration with Youth Photographic Society very soon. So we are working on it. That is how, since I had a meeting with him, I said, no, sir, I am in another important meeting. You also join there. So
Thank you.
that's how it happened. And they've been doing a fantastic job, sir.
Thanks, Vikas, very much. And Pawanji, please keep attending our webinars. We conduct every month, and I can tell you, till September 2023, the visiting photo presenters are already booked. Okay, so we are working very hard to conduct this kind of webinars, and we are very soon we'll be completing our 50th webinar.
Thanks for the invite, so I'll definitely.
Yeah. Okay, then I think it is already 9 o'clock. Although it is too early for Lisa because it's morning hours, but for us it is the night hours. So thanks. First of all, I will thank Satish ji for introducing me the name of Anitha Mysore Madam. And Anitha Mysore Madam, I am really thankful to you from the core of my heart because the variations in the travel photography with all techniques you have used, all kinds of composition parameters you have used. Really, the Dharmad Kamala Club is thankful to you, madam, for such kind of amazing presentation. And I am thankful to every participant because without the participants, we cannot do such kind of webinars. And today I am happy the participants number crossed around 50. So it shows how Anitha madam is popular among the photographers in the country. So thanks everyone and good night to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Binay, I just have seen you. Binay is also a wonderful travel photographer from Varanasi. Last month he presented his photo presentation. Please say something, Binay.
पूरी दुनिया घुमा दी और क्या करना है?
और क्या करें?
I was with Binay ji in 2019 in February in Varanasi.
With
Binay
Hema?
ji, along with Hema. Yeah,
yes, we met.
Yes.
Thank you. बहुत बढ़िया. I learned a lot.
Yes.
Travel का ये leading line और ये सब बहुत I learned a lot.
Thank you so much.
आपने सही कहा. अब क्या चाहिए? पूरी दुनिया घूम ली है. ठीक है ना? हम तो कंट्री का नाम लिखने में व्यस्त थे. जहां अभी हम एंड करें एक नया कंट्री आ जाए.
कैसे घूम पाएंगे इतना, कैसे कर पाएंगे इतना, यही अपने आप में बड़ा क्रेडिट का बात है.
बहुत बड़ी बात है.
Great achievement.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, good night from India and good morning from Colorado.
You have a good week. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.